Good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. This is the show where we get you a wrap of all the movers and shakers today in trade. I'm Mubina Kapasi, and a quick glance at the markets. We seem to have ebbed off from the day's low as well now, and we're mostly flat. Just a bit of green seen on the screen as we try to once again edge higher, 10,928. The broader markets, however, seem to be outperforming. But let's introduce our research analysts as well as our guests who are going to be joining us on the show. We have with us Soumya Sharma, Siddharth Bhamre, Kunal Bothra, and we're also going to be joined by Gaurav Ratnaparke of Sharekhan. So good morning to all of you. Thanks so much for joining in. And let's kickstart the show with the very first stock. It's a result reaction and quite a tedious one because the stock is in the doldrums. Reliance Nippon is the stock I'm talking about. In fact, as we speak, it's dwindling towards the day's low. The Q3 profits as well as revenues have declined on a year-on-year basis. Regulatory changes once again are being cited as a reason why the company has not really been up to the mark when it comes to the Q3 numbers. That's being evidenced in the stock price as well, which is now sub the 150 rupee mark. Kunal, let's talk about Ajanta Pharma. You're fairly bullish here. Why is that?
Stock is now confirmed a flag pattern breakout. In fact, we discussed this stock I think a couple of days back as well on the same show, and it indicated that the flag pattern is in the making and the stock would break out any time, given the robustness of volumes, the steadiness of price patterns above its trading above its key moving averages, both 50 and 200 moving average. I believe now the breakout has happened and the stock could continue to cruise up higher from current levels as well. So 1240 is the target, which I'm revising it, suggesting a buy on Ajanta Pharma even at current levels. Stop loss could also be tailed up higher to 1165.
Okay, so that's Ajanta Pharma for you. Soumya, let's talk about ICICI Prudential, a significant decline in the stock price.
Yes, Mubina, the stock has been under pressure on back of weak results. In fact, CLS in their brokerage note today lowered the growth and margin forecast for the company. Even though they had a buy stance on the stock, they have cut the price target from 450 to 430 per piece.
Okay, 10% and counting for ICICI Prudential just in today's trade, sub 310 rupee mark. Gaurav, Shree Cement, it was a result candidate. Today it's seen some very sharp gains. What's the strategy you recommend here?
Yeah, that's right. Basically, Shree Cement is witnessing a nice recovery since last couple of sessions. On the downside, 15,500, 15,200 acted as a crucial support area, and over there the stock formed a bullish outside bar in the last session, and as a follow through the stock is moving up today, and on the way up it has crossed its crucial daily moving averages, which shows that the bulls are having upper hand in these counters. When the daily momentum indicator has given a fresh buy signal, so one can initiate a fresh long position over here with stop loss at 15,850 and target on the upside will be 18,000, 18,100.
Right, that's Shree Cement for you. Siddharth, meantime, another stock that's gaining is Mindtree. What are you observing here?
Firstly, there was a lot of built-up and a lot of volatility in early part of Jan series, Mubina, and we were unable to figure out that what exactly is happening in Mindtree. And now, we know that Fairfax has edged past L&T Infotech and Tech Mahindra to acquire Mindtree. Having said that, we are still seeing a lot of formation of long position in Mindtree. Stock is continuing to add a lot of open interest and we are seeing upward price traction. So keep eye on this name. You would see heightened volatility in coming days.
Okay, yes, the entire buzz with respect to some consolidation in the space, or rather some M&A activity in the space as well, is something you should watch out for. Kunal, you have a buy on Bajaj Finance?
So yes, Mubina, the stock is staring towards swing breakout. The last 3 days we've seen some slight increase in volume pickup for the stock price. Also in terms of price trends, the stock has now confirmed a breakout above those 2600, 2620, which has been more of a short-term resistance zone for Bajaj Finance. But post the confirmation of breakout and then support of volumes, I believe the stock should now start a new uptrend. Whether this could be a leadership stock for the entire sector, that I think is something to watch out for. But nevertheless, the price trends are quite positive. Bajaj Finance could rise up to 2700, trade with a stop loss of 2600.
All right, so that's Bajaj Finance for you, higher by 0.8%. Let's talk about HDFC Live. This one too came out with its numbers. The street's certainly not very impressed with the numbers. I mean, if you have to look at it from a 9th-month basis, the overall APE growth was at 16%, on slower individual APE growth at 11%. There was some growth witnessed in the protection business as well as the non-par savings annuity business, but there's a slowdown on ULIPs, there's slower growth in the PAR segments as well. VNB business was strong, but again, 4 Q3 margins over there were weak. So all of that is something that you must watch out for. The stock price, however, at this point of time is near the day's low, 2% gone for HDFC Live. Soumya, TVS Motors too, yesterday the company came out with its numbers today. stock prices lower in trade?
Well, despite good Q3 numbers, the stock has been underperforming as the brokerage reports feel that the valuations are a bit of a concern for the stock. In fact, Credit Suisse had maintained underperformed stance with a target at 420 per share, and Citi even retained sell as valuations are high and the target has been 480 per share.
All right. So brokerages are a bit wary of the stock after the company delivered their Q3 numbers. Gaurav, the media space today sure is buzzing, and Zee Entertainment is really leading the gains there.
The Zee Limited has been trading in a broad consolidation range which is spanning over several months, and today the stock is bouncing back from lower end of the range, and the lower end was near 420-400 levels. So overall structure suggests that the bounce can continue further. I am expecting this stock to head towards its daily as well as weekly upper Bollinger Band, which are placed near 475-480 range.
Okay, so that of course is Zee Entertainment for you. Meantime, a space that's not doing very well today in trade is PSU Banks, and Siddharth, you're flagging off Canara Bank among those names?
Well, yes, Can Bank was correcting, and after Union Bank's poor set of numbers, PSU Banks started correcting more. And we are seeing formation of short position. Today is no different, but interesting thing, Mubina, is that Can Bank has taken support around its 200 DMA. And on intraday also you can see that there is an attempt to come back into green, and probably that stock would get into green. And we are seeing a decent build-up. Should one say these are short positions or long? I think biasness still will be a bit short because positionally stock is correcting. Nevertheless, stock has taken support, so we have to talk about it, and as we speak it's in green.
Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll just take a quick breather right here on Market Fatafat. But here's a reminder for all our viewers. As per the new TRAI order, you have the power to choose and pay only for those channels that you want to watch. So if you enjoy this edition of Market Fatafat and to keep watching it on ET Now, call your cable or DTH operator and get the Times Network value pack right away. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. Without any further ado, let's continue with the countdown. And Gaurav, UPL today is as well seeing some significant buying coming in. What would you advise viewers to do here?
The UPL has been trading in sideways manner for last few weeks. And in terms of price pattern, it has a potential to form a triangular pattern. Near lower end of the pattern, there are multiple parameters to provide support to the counter. So once the swing high of 787 is surpassed, the stock can have significant upside potential. So the recommendation would be to buy above 787 with stop loss at 760, and target on the upside will be 840, which is near weekly upper Bollinger Band.
Okay, that's of course Gaurav's view on a UPL. Kunal, let's talk about HDFC, which well, today is finding itself on the losing side.
Yes, Mubina, and the chart patterns are a bit intriguing because earlier last week, rather in the second half of last week, the stock was on the verge of making a triangular pattern breakout. There were volume patterns which are supporting the move, and now the stock is now trying to test the lower end of this triangular pattern breakout. So it's a reversal of sorts, but the stock is yet to confirm that breakdown. So 1950 is the level. I believe that should be a very crucial level for HDFC because since it's a large cap, highly weighted stock in the Nifty 50 itself, the direction of HDFC breakout could matter a lot to the Nifty 50 as well. So HDFC is something to watch out for. Below 1950, I believe there could be a correction which could come back into the stock.
Okay, that's HDFC for you. Gaurav, meantime, Biocon is throwing up an interesting pattern today. It did gain very smartly, but just in the last couple of minutes, it's actually given up most of those gains. It's now trading flat.
Yeah, Biocon basically has formed a multi-week triangular pattern and has broken out on the upside in the last week. The stock is now approaching its weekly upper Bollinger Band. However, the short-term as well as medium-term momentum indicators being in bullish mode suggest that the stock can extend through the weekly upper Bollinger Band and can head towards its September high, which is near 718. So that is the potential this stock has from short to medium-term perspective.
All right, Biocon absolutely flat as we speak with a bit of red seen on the screen. But unfortunately, we'll have to wrap it up on at least Market Fatafat. So we could just do 13 stocks today. Thanks to all of you for joining in. Gaurav, to you as well for giving your recommendations on individual stocks. But before we wrap it up, here is an important word coming in from a recently concluded conference on internal audits. As India progresses towards new age technologies, the possibilities of online frauds as well have gone up multi-folds. And the leaders of the Institute of Internal Auditors have told ET Now's Ajay Sharma that the Indian audit system must be revamped and reconstructed to meet global standards.
Well, I think Indian companies are experiencing some of the same risks and challenges that companies around the world are feeling. Clearly, in economies that are in a developing stage, there are certain risks that, of potentially fraud or mismanagement that you may not see in some other countries. But I think internal audit here is up to the challenge. From what I've seen in my travels here to India over the last few years, this is a profession that's growing and vibrant and is ready to take on the challenge of addressing the risks that Indian companies face. From what I've seen and I see in America, American companies are often looking to Indian companies to supplement their workforce, to supplement some of their capability, and I think that's already, for me, a signal of economy here and the caliber of companies in India that is rising.
Mauri-san, how would you look at or what would you tell Indian companies and many of the viewers also of our business channel on the challenges and risks which lie ahead and the areas they need to be careful about while adopting the best practices?
So, Indian companies, as Richard said, has been really coming up with nicely with the learning curve, if you will. And I have actually been engaged with the Indian workforces in the past 2 decades, working with the local internal auditors, helping the headquarters to work. Clearly, one of the things that I do actually think that Indian auditors need to be mindful about is clear distinction between the accounting profession and the internal audit profession. It is two distinct professions, and internal audit does require different skill sets to actually help protect the organization and then provide value to the senior management and to the board audit committee. So that needs to be clearly understood. Competence needs to be up. I do understand that Indian auditors, the competence is actually quite high. So you have actually brighter side in actually working with that.
Bhaskar, you also represent a large corporate group. And of course, have you been associated with large corporate groups in your previous experience as well? Talk to us about how large corporate groups are also integrating best practices. What are the kind of challenges they are taking? What stage of development things are over there?
Well, historically in India, internal auditing has evolved as an offshoot of the accounting profession. And there have been in MNCs, the culture was, it used to be used as a management development department. And in regulated industries, it's a specialized career kind of a job. And I think like wherever regulations specify very clearly, it is required to meet the highest standards. But as companies become increasingly global, it is extremely important for internal auditors in India to align to the global standards, and it is imperative that to become specialized and get the certificate internal auditor profession. And in India also, like of late we see increased stakeholder activism. So to that extent, it has become extremely crucial for internal auditors to step up and really make sure the basics are in place, and so that they can really evolve into becoming a valued partner and cope up with the various business disruption, etc.
Devashish, talk to us about how the inputs from internal audit or the overall concept of high quality internal audit or global standards internal audit actually becomes a strategic input as well for corporates.
Sure. So if you think of it, as any corporate thinks about strategic decisions, mergers and acquisitions, hive-offs, setting up of new plants, big investments, fundamentally what are they doing? Any leadership is trying to take a decision on how effectively can they mitigate or sort of predict risks that might hit them. Now, if the internal audit profession equips itself with professionals who therefore bring that value to the businesses, if they're able to understand what are the key business value drivers, what are the interdependencies, what are factors beyond pure financial analysis, what if you had things like people aspects, cultural aspects. Those are things which today get missed out in key strategic decisions, and at least internal auditors don't have a role to play, because I don't think we've so far sort of taken the profession to that standard. But if we can elevate ourselves to that level, I do believe that the risk and internal audit professionals actually are ideally suited to be able to bring that strategic value to these decisions.